Hello, everybody. This is Kyrix, and I've been inactive for quite a while. Um, Not as long as it would seem. I actually have been recording multiple things over the previous months, but I felt I should come on here and give an account as to why my channel has effectively been dead for several months. Um, it's a lot of things. For starters, I had been recording my This Week in Kyrix episodes and some other stuff on the side, but the Twig episodes were the big thing. I had been recording them and then transferring them onto an external hard drive, or no, a USB stick, then into my laptop to be reformatted in a more resource preserving manner. Like shave a couple gigabytes off it without dropping the quality too much. And then I would put them into my Dropbox until such time as I would upload them, at which point they would go into my external hard drive. It was a big process. Well, the laptop I was doing the modification on died. So it didn't die, that's not fair. It updated and at one point restarted, and now I can't get it to go back to the desktop. There are steps I can take, I've just been too busy. So I continued recording the episodes, but didn't want to upload them because it would take them out of order, And then I got COVID again. And this time was much, much worse than the first time, to the point where they weren't even comparable. Getting COVID the second time is the difference between, stubbing your toe and getting hit in the toe with a sledgehammer. The first time I had COVID, I actually went to work because COVID hadn't really hit America per se. We didn't have any of the restrictions in. There was no thing like, oh, you can take time off for COVID. I thought I had the flu. I went to work. I worked all through COVID without any real noticeable dip in quality of my work, other than what a flu would do. This time, I was bedridden and I nearly died. Basically, I had the symptom where everything you tasted, or everything you ate, tasted like nothing. It tasted like ashes. So it was a chore to get anything down. Like I could eat bites of things. And one day I got up to go to the bathroom and started to pass out and managed barely to get back to my room to pass out on my bed where all my things were, because I just had this sense that if I passed out in that bathroom, I wouldn't wake back up. And I did wake up an hour or two later, and as soon as it became possible, when the time frame got right and things opened, I ordered something. I don't remember what, but I ordered something and made myself eat it. It got to the point where I was ordering nuggets from Wendy's on a regular basis because I could eat a couple of them and then reheat whatever I didn't eat. But that was my big impetus to make myself eat, and that'll be important for something that I'm going to mention shortly. And then after that, something that came out in my updates, but I don't think ever made it to YouTube as of this recording, is I entered a relationship with a longtime friend of mine around July or so. And there had been plans. I had, at the start of July or the end of July or something like that, I went up to her state, Minnesota, to visit for a weekend and then came back. And then the plan was for her to move down here. We were going to get a place. Things went a little lopsided. COVID sidelined me because COVID happened to happen the week that I was supposed to go, or the week before I was supposed to go. So I actually ended up, the last day that my COVID was failing, like the tail end of the symptoms. Well, the symptoms as a whole were gone, but I still had symptoms. Like I wasn't contagious, but I was still suffering. I had to go on the plane with this, and that was a fucking nightmare. I don't feel bad about it because I was masked the entire time, you know. But COVID hitting when it did destroyed what savings I had, because I basically had to special order everything I needed. Suddenly I needed NyQuil and Dayquil and decongestants and aspirins and food and toilet paper and Kleenex and just everything. And when I got back down here, it was with her. So basically, I haven't had time to do any recordings, and we are in a transitional period where we are starting to make work on a new joint channel between the two of us. So this channel will not see very many uploads in the future. I might do things for it. I might put stuff in the backlog up on it. But in the near future, my attention, when I have the free time for it, will be focused on starting and maintaining this new channel with her. Now, I mentioned something about COVID a little bit ago that I said would be important. As of a couple days ago, I found out that a friend of mine died of COVID. And I could handle that. It happens, Sometimes disease creeps up on you. It could take down people who seem healthy. But that's not what happened here. I got this news, and when I got the details, I was furious. Because he'd had COVID. I knew this. I saw it on Facebook. He had COVID, and then his wife and kid got tested, and they had it too. And he'd had it. He knew he had it for several weeks. And I come to find out that he had refused to go into the hospital when he started getting really sick again. Now, this would be bad enough on its own, except this is what killed his mother and his father. And here he is, refusing to go in. And he wasn't eating, and he wasn't taking his other necessary medications. And then he wouldn't go into the hospital on top of that. And just like with me in the bathroom, he collapsed. Except, unlike me, he didn't get to safety in time. And he went down hard. And his wife checked on him and sent him to the hospital, and he didn't make it. And because of that stubbornness, one of my friends is gone. And he's someone I've known for a couple decades now. I met him in high school. What are you eating, you little shit? Stop. Sorry about that. Serious moment interrupted by the roommate's cat, because girlfriend's sleeping in the other room, and I didn't want to wake her. But he's a friend I've had for several decades. I think he might have done a couple things for my channel early on, and I've done a couple things for his, because he was a Twitch streamer near the end, and I did a couple of his streams. And it was a lot of fun, and that's never going to happen again. And all because he couldn't go to the doctor. Not he couldn't, he wouldn't. Because he went in the first time, that's how they found out he had the COVID. And I just want to implore people out there. I know, believe me, I know. I have, my knee is actually in the process of giving out. I am losing the use of my right leg. It's getting to the point where it will no longer support my weight. My knee is going, and the joint on my hip is going. I wear a brace now. I have crutches in my room in case I need them. And they keep telling me go to the doctor to get this looked at. Well, I don't have insurance, and I'm not going into debt over something like this. If need be, I can get a wheelchair and still function. This is not the loss of the use of a limb or a minor inconvenience. This is the case of your life hangs in the balance. Go to the doctor. When your choice is death or debt, take the debt. You can work that off if you give enough time. You can have eternity. You're not going to work the death off. Okay? You or some relative or a friend of yours wins the lottery and that debt goes away. But you're stuck with the death. So please, I know hospitals suck. Believe me, I spent a substantial portion of my youth in the hospital because of numerous not necessary, mostly cosmetic facial surgeries to correct a cleft lip from childhood. I spent a lot of time in hospitals as a kid. And it's not great, but dying's a lot worse. So, if you're sick, if you're really sick, go to the doctor. You don't want to be the person who leaves a lot of angry and sad people behind you because you wouldn't go in and get something entirely treatable fixed. Because here's the thing, he was in relatively good health and he'd had the vaccine. This should not have been a death sentence for him. If he had gone into the doctor, they'd have made sure he got nutrients in him so he wouldn't have been starving. They'd have gotten his medication in him so he wouldn't have had that going for him. And they could have treated the COVID symptoms. And he'd have had a shitty week. But he'd have had that week. And right now, maybe he'd be messaging me about how much it sucks to be in the hospital right now. He wants to stream. He wants to go to work. He wants to do this, but he can't. Well, now he can't do any of those things, and he never will. So, I implore you, if you get bad, don't, and your relatives and loved ones and friends and family tell you go to the doctor, fucking listen to them. A bill is not worse than your fucking life. Okay? Anyway, I hope soon to post information about the new channel. And I hope we can stay on it, because right now we've got a lot of things going on. Right now our schedules don't really match up. Like, I'm off on days she works on days I'm off. Or I work on days she's off. And we don't really have the time to record shit, but pretty soon I should be getting my weekends back at work and that won't be an issue. But anyway, it was nice to be back talking to the channel again. And in case you're wondering why I sound so quiet, it's not just because of the somber material, it's because it's almost 5 a.m. and I don't want to wake the house up. And I'm in one of the rooms that's conducive to doing exactly that. So, I will see you soon, I hope. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm using a different setup, so I don't really have an off button. Bye, everyone.